Amen. That's some wishful thinking right there. This morning, I'm actually going to talk about not counting your troubles, but counting your blessings. We are quick, and as we get older, I'm finding this myself, that I pick up the phone and I call my friends and we start talking about it. And I remember the good old days, what we talked about. But now we're talking about, girl, then I'm putting me on a Lodipine. And I'm like, I'm Lodipine? Yeah, and I'm also taking a Torvastatin. And so then we go down the list of every medication that we are now taking. Instead of, it is like, and we always talk, as I call my friends, about what hurts. My leg hurts. My back hurts. How you doing, Lucille? No, not too good. My leg is not bothering me. But this morning I want to focus on our blessings. Okay, our blessings. I'm sure you've heard the saying, I cried because I had no shoes until I met a man that had no feet. We are blessed in abundance. This morning we have a church that we can worship in. We have a church where we can gather in fellowship in public. I can tell you good morning. I can recognize you. I can even see you at the store. Like I tell Gloria, I see you. I'll see you at church. I saw you at church when I run into her at Walmart or Brookshire's. There are countries in this world, there are places in this world right now that don't have a place to worship. There are places in this world right now where if I see you in the place of worship, wherever we're praying, I cannot acknowledge you. Because Christians are being persecuted. Right now, today, in countries that we don't even talk about. So we are blessed this morning. We're blessed because we have a place where we can worship. We are blessed because we have a family of Christians that we can acknowledge, that will hold us accountable, that will ask us, and I will call you, and I will be honest with you, you have called me when I'm not at church. We hold each other accountable to come to church. It doesn't matter what our situation is. I want you to know that your bad day is somebody's good day. Regardless as what the situation in your life is, your bad day could be somebody's good day. We need to thank God for our blessings when we get up and we drink a glass of water. There are people today that don't have clean water to drink. There is no water for them. But God will bless you even in the strangest situations. So this morning I'm going to give testimony about a little bit about my childhood, which y'all already know. When I didn't have a place to sleep, I was homeless from the age of 4 to 12. When I didn't have a place to sleep, except a sidewalk, God provided. We found an abandoned building. It had been burnt. Some windows were busted. But it had a roof. And I no longer felt the rain when I slept on the sidewalk. Do you know why? Because God provided. When I was hungry, as a homeless child, God provided. There was a Church's Chicken across the street from the burnt building. And every day I went to the dumpster and I found food. I found chicken and biscuits and French fries and whatever else Church's Chicken serves. And guess what? God provided. I was no longer starved. When I was thirsty, God provided. Right next to the old abandoned building was another office building, and that office building had a faucet facing the burnt building. So again, God provided. And I was no longer thirsty. I had water that I could bathe with. I had water that I could drink. when I slept on the floor of the abandoned building, God provided. I started thinking, we were talking the other day about the word bougie. A couple of us were talking about the word bougie. They're like, what is bougie? Well, bougie is when you're a little foo-foo and, you like to wear a little name brand every now and then or eat at a nice restaurant, We can be a little bougie, all of us. I know I am. But, yeah, I'm a little bougie. You can tell by the bling right here. That's bougie right there. But let me tell you, Tempur-Pedic ain't got nothing on me. Ain't got nothing on God. I found a stack of boxes. And I laid one box, 2 boxes, 3 boxes, folded them up. And I was able to lay on it nice. Add some more. But I had a pillow top mattress before the pillow top mattress was invented. Because God provided. God will provide. But we are the children. We're children of God. And as children, we tend to forget God's goodness. If you're a parent, or we know that you're a child of someone, as kids, we forget. Our kids, they forget. I'm going to tell you something about my daughter. Every day when my daughter came home from school, I'd say, I'd pick her up, say, get your homework done, and let me give you a little snack while I fix dinner. I had gone to Sam's, and it was on sale that they had corn dogs on sale. So I thought, I'll get me a box. I think there were 15 corn dogs to a box. I think I bought 2. I figured that's a month's worth. She gets home from 5th grade. She can grab her a corn dog, right? Do her homework. Well, I cook. This child has told everybody in her life that the only thing I ever fed her was corn dogs. We forget as children of God what God has blessed us with. Think about your kids if you have some. They forget that you fed them. They forget that they lived in your house, that you bought them clothes for school, that they had nice shoes. We even got them a car, didn't we? Most of our kids, we got them a mode of transportation so they could get somewhere. But then they grow up and then I don't remember anything they ever did for me. They never did anything for me. Said, feed me corn dogs. But you know what? That's how we are as children. We forget about the blessings that God has given us. This morning, and I've been praying for Evelyn about your sight, Evelyn. I'm believing that God will restore you. But I will tell you that this morning, if you're able to see whatever you're able to see, remember that somewhere in this world there's somebody who has never seen the one they love. The one thing that God is asking us is not to be boastful. We don't go around saying, bragging. I got this and I got that. Yeah, the Lord provided, but we want to be humble because we are nobodies. What we want to be is, be a nobody that tells everybody about somebody that can save everyone. That's what we want. But we are nobody in this game. Everything we have, the water, the clothes, the life, the friendships, the family, the pets we have, even if it's a goose, God has provided. God will provide us with what we want. The Bible tells us in the book of John 14, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. Don't focus on your troubles. Focus on your blessings. The one thing I saw that we see in the book of David, David talks about all the blessings that God has done for him. And even he cried out when he thought that the Lord wasn't answering him. But the Psalm 23rd says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lay down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. And in Psalm number 9, it says, I will praise you, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will tell of your wondrous and marvelous work. May we all be like David. David who wrote the Psalms, by the way, this day. May we all be like David. That we can Sing the praises of God and what God has done for you in your life. You know, it's so interesting, and every week is different. Church, I don't know if next week I'll be preaching because we have a meeting on Wednesday. So there's always a possibility that we may have an appointment. But I have committed myself that as long as the church, as we need a preacher, I will preach. Because God has led me to say, do not close the doors of the church. We are a church, we are a family, and we will continue to work and do God's work. That's why the back of our bulletin is full of dates. Because we're full of faith. We've talked about faith the last couple of sermons, and we talk about what God can do and our expectation of God and what we expect right now, and what we expect is this church to be filled with glory. We expect our church to be filled with faith. People who believe, people who know that the blind will see again, that the church, the people will walk through the door again, that the people that need to be a part of the family. You see, everyone is welcome in the house of the Lord, but God knows who He's going to send to be a part of our family. And I hope that makes sense to you. That everyone is welcome in the house of God, but God will send particular people and certain people into this church to be part of our family. You know, not all families mesh together. And I think that we mesh pretty good. And I think whoever walks in the door to be a part of our church is going to feel right at home. Because they're going to see, you know, as you were singing, the face of God. They're going to see Jesus. You know, the only Jesus some people ever know is the Jesus they see in you. The only Christ and the only Bible they'll ever read is the Bible that you present with your character and how you speak and how you treat people. Your homework. I've been giving homework out, and I love it. That's what, all of it. I hate homework, but the Lord said, give them homework. And when you think about what a preacher said, the Lord told me, some of y'all may wonder, how did the Lord tell you to do anything? All of a sudden, this thought comes into you. You're in prayer, and then a thought comes into your mind, and you're like, okay, Lord. You try to brush the thought away, but the thought keeps coming back. So it's what the Lord's will. So the homework for the week is I'm going to ask you at home, alone or with your spouse or family, to write 10 things that the Lord has done for you. 10 things. And they can be very simple. They can be things that you remember. And then I want you to take 3 minutes. If you want to take 30 minutes, that's up to you. But I'm asking you to take a minimum of 3 minutes to thank God for the blessings that He has provided you with. I will be doing the same homework this week. 10 things that God has blessed me with. When I asked and I thought that everything was impossible, that there was no future. And some of the simple little things, from driving home on an empty gas tank, that God will get you there, is something to be thankful for. We should thank God in everything that we do, because we are nothing without God. So I want you to write 10 things that the Lord has done for you. And then I want you to take 3 minutes and I want you to thank Him for that. God willing, next week we will be together. I invite everyone to come to the meeting on Wednesday if you are able. So the superintendent will be here and we will express our concerns. We will express what we're willing to do as a church and where we are and where we want to go. Everything is in God's hands. Our church and our community as a family is in God's hands. So faith, let no one ever question your faith, because faith is what has us here this morning. Faith is what had us here last week. And faith will bring us back together again next week. I believe this with all of my heart. The next week we will be again moving forward. I also want to say that if anybody needs prayer, I'm always here to pray for you and with you. And I will be meeting with the superintendent as well and asking her about sending in a new membership list to the district, where we're going to register our members of our church, that we are a church, and we are going to recommit ourselves. Even though you already are Methodist and you already probably committed yourself, I want us to commit ourselves as a church, that we will look out for each other, that we will pray for one another, that we will encourage one another to continue to pray and to continue this journey of God's work. God has chosen us. He has anointed us. And we will not fail God, because God will never fail you. We're going to show up on Sunday. And let me tell you, show up for God and God will show up for you. Amen?
Amen.